Hello. I was sitting here with my best buds ever, Cody and Joe, the gentlemen that were sitting in the backyard the other night in my darkest hour, where I got the second MRI, and it wasn't great. And these guys took me out to lunch. We got some delicious lunch. Anyway, they were asking about this unverified testimony that just happened at the hospital. I'm trying to verify it. It's a tricky one. So I'm going to explain it to them through this and on here once. So I don't have to keep repeating myself. I was leaving Jessica's room. Her nurse had done a turn with her, and I said, "Hey babe, is it okay if I go eat?" Because she's starting to eat now, which I was going to not tell you until later, but she's eating through a tube in her nose. And there's reasons for that. It's the right step. Little wins, right? Baby steps. So I leave, and I only have about 35 minutes from the time I leave the room. By the time I get down, I have 30 minutes, and I start walking. I was like, cafeteria where I can get food quick and sit down, or the car where I can't probably get out, but at least I can get outside. So I decided I'm gonna get in my car. I won't be able to get out, but I can roll down the windows, go in a drive-through or something, look at the sky, feel the wind. That sounds awesome. And I'm walking out of the main doors, and then I walk past the fountain and start walking up where my car was, and I hear this guy go, "Oh, F!" And I was like, "Oh shoot, am I gonna get in a fight right now or something?" And he walked past me, and he was grunting, and then he just looked really upset, sad. And right when he lined up with me, I'm like, "Hey man, are you okay?" And he said, "No, I can't find my car." And I felt for him right away, because I couldn't find my car the other night because it got reparked or something, and I was really tired, but I found it finally. So I just started walking with him, and we started walking. I said, "Hey, is everything okay?" How are you guys getting out of this? My arm is shrinking. He had blood right here on his nose. It looked like he got punched in the face. He had a circle laceration right here, the skin was fully ripped off. So it was just raw. And then a little bit of blood splatter here or something. Dude, are you all right? And he's like, "I don't even know how I got here." And I slowly used my spiritual discernment and decided that he was drunk. And I said, "Hey man, you buzzed?" He's like, "Oh man, I'm pretty messed up." And I said, "Hey, okay, it's okay. Let's go find your car." And I hadn't thought through the whole scenario yet, how him finding his car is not a good thing. And he had his keys in his pocket. But it was okay. The Holy Spirit was leading, I believe. And we walked down, and I said, based on the blood on his face, I said, "Did you come from there?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's it." He saw the emergency sign. So we walk around, and we start walking up, and that's where I was like, wait a second. We can't find his car. This is not a good idea. And we stop under the shade of a tree, and he's drunk, very drunk. Maybe more than drunk. Maybe there's some spiritual stuff as well. And I say, "Hey man, let's stop for a second. So you don't remember what time you got here?" I said, "Are you sure your car is here?" And he said, "I think so, but I don't remember." I said, "Let's do this, man. I'm gonna call an Uber. Where do you live?" Oh, and I forgot, when we were walking at first, and he had the thing on his face, he said, "And I don't have my car, and I live in Los Angeles." And I was like, okay, interesting. That's just whatever, fact to put in the back of my head. So then I said, where do you live? I meant address. And he said, "I live in Riverside." And I said, "I thought you said you live in Los Angeles." He said, "I lied." He said, "I don't trust people." I said, "Oh, okay, man, that's okay. Do you want me to do this?" And he was on board at first, so I was trying to get out my phone and find Uber. And I said, let's make this, I want to make sure you understand this first. So I said, "Please look at me." And I said, "Please look at my eyes." And I said, "First I'm going to order an Uber." And then I had a brain fart because I'm really tired. And I looked to the side to pause/think, and he's like, you're not looking at my eyes. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you're right. Because I just told you to look at my eyes. You're right. So I stared at him. I was like, I'm going to get an Uber. And I'm pausing, looking at his eyes, having a brain fart. And I said, then you're going to sleep. And when you feel okay, when you've slept this thing off, I want you to call my cell phone. And then I'm going to order you an Uber back here and you can pick up your car. I said, but I feel like as soon as I said that, I was like, we need to verify his car's even here. So I said, let's go. Oh, no, that's not how that unpacked. So I just had that sense. We need to verify whether his car's here. And I just paused for a second, maybe like prayed 2 syllables in the spirit for a second. And he pulled out a piece of... No, he said, who are you anyway? I said, my name's Steven. What's your name? And he says, my name's Denny, Denny. And I shake his hand. I shake his right hand. And shake his right hand. And then everything happened up to what I just said. Then he pulls out a white piece of paper and it's a stack with a staple. And I was like, oh, I think this is a discharge thing. And sure enough, he opens it. It's discharge papers. He's already been in and out of the ER. So kind of weird they released him that intoxicated, but I guess it's not like they put you in custody in there. Like, so I'm reading his thing, and the diagnosis is basically like, you're drunk, don't drink alcohol, it's gonna kill you. Like, that's basically what it says. But I keep flipping through, like, no medications, just don't drink alcohol or stop drinking so much alcohol. And there's a thing about like an area about wounds or problems, and I was expecting to see his face stuff on there, like, hey, blood on his face, and it shows an arm out like this, like drawn on an image with like on the top of the upside of the forearm a black like spot, kind of like scratchy looking black spot, clearly trying to indicate like there's a wound here. And I said, hey, did you hurt your arm? I wasn't trying to like make anything happen or figure anything out other than I'm trying to flip through this paperwork and figure out what information's there. And I wish I could like, can you hold this for a second? This is good that you're here. I show him the paper, and it has like a drawing of this, but it's small and it's just a white like cutout. And there's like a dark spot right here on it. And I said, hey, did you like hurt your right arm? And he showed his right arm and it looks just normal. He's like, yeah, I had a really big like wound right here. And I said, where is it? And he said, yeah, I don't know. And I said, you had a wound? He's like, I don't know, man. I don't even know how I got here. And we're back to where he got here. So I said, okay, now I have ER papers, and I grab it. All right, I go to the front page. I said, your name's Denny. You're 32 years old, and you came here at midnight today because it said 12:40. Preview ahead, it said PM. I thought it was AM though. So I walk in with a drunk man, acting like I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking to the check-in nurse at first, and I realize halfway through, like, hey, you know what? We'll talk to the security. We're not checking him in, and we're wasting your time. Other people can check in. And the security guard had already overheard, and I got an MXPX shirt on, and I look like grungy, and I have headphones that I'm not listening to around my neck, and I have this drunk guy that his face is all beat up, and I'm like, hey, this guy. This is what I said. I said, I know this guy checked in at midnight, or 12:40 this morning, and everyone's changed over typically at 7 a.m. But do you think there's any chance someone here might still know his story? Because maybe they know that someone dropped him off versus drove. And he's like, he looks at me like, crazy person. Like, are you drunk too? So why are you not in the shop? So, he says it's 12. He said this just happened. It's 12:40, but it hadn't just happened. It was like maybe 2 o'clock around this time, so pretty close. Maybe it was 2:30. Oh no, it was 1:45 because I needed to be back up for Jessica's physical therapy at 2. So the security guard basically just says, "Oh no, I have to tell you more. I'm so sorry that this is so scattered. I need a little bit of sleep, and I'll try to be more organized on the next one." But he says, as the security guard's like looking on the computer, he says, "Oh, we could call my sister and she could pick me up." I'm like, "That's a great idea. We should do that, Denny. Why didn't you tell me this earlier?" He's like, "I don't know." So I was like, "All right, you have a phone?" He's like, "No." And you're gonna have to hold the phone here in a second again. And he said, "No." He's like, "All right, I'll call her. What's her number?" He said 951. I'm like, "Okay, so it is Riverside." And then he says a number. You have to grab my phone again. And yeah, show my face because I'll try to impersonate him. And I'm standing over here dialing, and I look over and I see him pull a phone out of his pocket all slow, and he goes like this, and I can see the caller ID, and it made me very uncomfortable when I saw my caller ID on it because he was acting weird. And I said, "I thought you didn't have a phone," and he was like, "I tricked you." But he like locked eyes with me, and I got a very like. I've seen a few people that have been demon possessed before, and I think he maybe was demon possessed. But I didn't necessarily. I did not address that at the moment. I just said, "Yeah, you did trick me, Denny. That was a good one. You want to call your sister for real now?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't know, like if that's gonna work." I was like, "Okay." And the security guard was just like, "Hey, sir, I'll handle this." I said, and I really felt burdened. Like I wanted to help him with the Uber, so I felt like I wanted to complete it. But I told Jessica I'd be back. He's in someone's hands. There's no more stuff to. So you can put that down. Thanks, Cody. Cody's my COO, by the way, at our company, and he's running it for us. Joe is my best friend and my brother, and he also works with our company. He's like a super entrepreneur. He has like 18 businesses. But these two guys and their families are just taking care of us so well, and our businesses that help support all of our families to just, they're our tent making skills, and they're stinking awesome. Thanks, guys. I was gonna say freaking, not something else if you were wondering when I paused on the F. So I said, "Okay, Denny, I'm gonna go, all right? You're in good hands. But if for some reason you end up wandering out of here before he helps you, if you wander back in, you can ask anyone for the number to call ICU 9 and ask for Steven. He's in Jessica Sidori's room. I will come down and help you." He said, okay. And I walked out. He actually came one more time and said, "Please don't go." And we talked it out, and it worked out for him to stay. I left. But man, right after that, by the way, there was another person encounter, and we had there was a cool thing that happened. But this is the highlight. I was walking back, and I just realized, like, I think like tissue regeneration may have just happened. I can't verify it at all because I never looked at his arms. Typically your forearms are in, right? Like, or the underside of your forearms in, so it doesn't stand out. I didn't notice it. I also wasn't like evaluating his body. I just remember looking at his face and the blood, and it looked like maybe he had he was punched in the nose and then scraped his chin on the ground or something. But I am trying to figure out a way to verify, because there is a documentation that this happened, and I'm hoping that someone, I know I can't get a picture because there's HIPAA rules and all that kind of thing. I don't even know who this guy is, but maybe he can pull a picture of it if I run into him again. I'm just hoping that someone in the hospital that has enough connections can just say, "Hey, I met a guy. All I need them to tell me is this. I don't think this would violate any rules, any HIPAA rules. I met a guy out in the parking lot, blah, blah, blah. He said he had a laceration on his arm, but now it's not there. Do you remember if he had that?" I just want that. If I can just get the nurse or the nurse practitioner or the whoever that saw it, that would be enough to just bless my heart. But I'm blessed in my heart already, because that's pretty crazy. And here's why it's specifically crazy. There are people that are speaking into the situation. And one of the things I heard early on, I was like, this is weird. I don't know about that. They said we're believing for tissue regeneration or regeneration. I thought, okay, like it's like I can believe for my wife to become not paralyzed, but that's like too much. Like she's still gonna have the scar. Like that can't go away, and that's like ridiculous to think, right? But this guy, he didn't have a spot on his arm where there was like clearly a wound. It was just nothing. Again, this whole testimony could be a farce because I might find out it wasn't, but why did his discharge papers show that? And then I don't think I showed him, hey, see this thing. I said, hey, did you have something gnarly on your right arm? And he's like, yeah, I had, and he explained what I saw. And then he's like, oh, yeah, I did. I said, where is it? He's like, I don't know. Just like, because he's also intoxicated. So he didn't like go, oh my gosh, where is it? Like, praise God or something. Anyway, there's a few other details of the story. But just a cool testimony of God interrupting my lunch. I didn't care at all that I didn't eat, and I look at this. Like, my friends showed up, which I'm so happy to see. The hospital's calling me. I probably need to go back. I'm gonna call them right back. The hospital was calling me. My friend showed up, who I'm so happy to see, and they bought me some delicious food, and I'm getting to now share this. So stand by for possible verification, maybe not. It doesn't matter, the Jessica thing is going to be way bigger, but I just wanted to give any of you guys sticking along, hanging along with this, just something. And because the Lord gave it to me and it blessed me, and since you're curious, I hope it blesses you as well. And I hope Joe and Cody's handsome faces just make you just so happy. See you guys.